Today in Reason 12, I'm going to show you how to route your Kong drum machine so each of the drum elements is routed to their own mix channel. This means that we can go to our sequencer and we see here drums. Everything could be contained in one pattern, but if we go up to the mixer, you'll see that each individual one can now have different effects on it, put different EQ settings, and whatever you want. I'm also going to show you how to create your own drum bus. We're going to do some sidechain compression to the kick, and I'm going to show you how to do some New York compression. Here's an example of how I routed all my drums in my new song, Renegade. Everything is nice, neat, and organized, with the possibility to do all sorts of things to each of the individual channels, all while keeping it on one pattern. Let's go ahead and get started. Create a new Reason project, and let's load up a Kong drum machine. Just click it, drag it right into here. And we want to right click it, and we're going to go to Reset Device. Now that all the channels are empty, we can simply go to Drum Supply, and we have access to all of our one-hit drums. Let's load up a kick drum. So you notice, when I clicked on there, nothing happened. This is a very typical problem in Reason, and the reason is, if you go up here, it says Browse Patches for Kong, but we're not in Kong, so nothing's going to show up. So you simply just exit out of this, and now our samples are available. Let's take this kick drum and drop it into Drum Pad 1. Now let's load up a clap. This sounds good. Drop it into Drum 2. Now let's find a hi-hat. This is fine. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to route these three elements, but with the steps that I'm showing you, you can create as many as you want. But for simplicity, we're just going to stick to 3. First thing we want to do is to get our sounds correct. Right off the bat, I feel that this has too long of a tail. So with this kick drum being selected, I can go to the decay and I can make this offset by bringing it to the left, and it'll shorten the sound. That's fine. Also, I think this has too long of a tail as well. Let's turn this up a bit so you can hear it. Let's bring this down to about right here. How about a little bit more? Perfect. Now that we have everything that we want, we could route these into our mix channels. You can right-click and go to Create Mix Channel. And since we have 3 one-shot drums, we wanted to create 3 mix channels. So just right-click, Create Mix Channel, and then right-click, Create Mix Channel. Now that we have all 3 of these, we can do our routing. First thing that we want is to select our kick drum, and we want to go to the bottom right here where it says drum, show drum and effects. I like to have all of my drums to be monophonic, so they're by default they're set to full. So hit polyphony till it goes to monophonic. There's another way to do it. So here's our clap. Notice that it's full, but also there's another thing here. You'll notice that it says Master FX. So let's bring this to monophonic real quick. You could actually just click on it, and we'll do it for this one as well. So now that we have all 3 on monophonic, we can concentrate on the drum output. So like I said, everything gets, by default, the output is to the Master FX, but we don't want that. We want to route these to their own mix channels. So let's name these real quick. So for convenience sake, kick, clamp, hat. Hit tab, and that will flip the rack over. You'll notice right up here says audio outs. So each groups of 2 are going to be 1 drum element. So we are going to take 3 and 4. This is going to be our kick, and we're going to drag this down to the input of our kick. And we're going to go to our next group of 2, our left and right channels. So 5 is left, right is 6. Take 5, dragging it down to our clap. Now for our last element, take the 7 and 8, or just the 7. The 8 will follow, and just drag it into our hat. So now these are routed. So if we hit tab again, we can go to our kick drum, and we want to make sure this is selected. It'll be highlighted in blue. Go down to drum output and select 3 and 4, because that's what we routed to our kick. Once again, if we go up here, we'll see 3 and 4 is routed to our kick. So let's do this for the hat or the clap. Master effects, we don't want that. We want 5 and 6, and our hat's going to be 7 and 8. So highlight the hat, go to the master effects, hit 7 and 8. Now the sound is going to be routed through these channels. Let's create just a very simple drum pattern. Here we are in the sequencer. Double click, and we can just drag this out to the 3. We could take the right and drag it right here. And to get into the sequencer, double click. Let's create a really simple drum pattern. Now that we did one bar, we could just simply click and drag, highlight all of them, and hold down Control and just drag it, and we can copy and paste. By default, this is always set to click, and it's on 120, so let's drop this down to about 90. Let's hear it. All right, the hi-hats are going way too slow. Let me fix that real quick. This is better. If we go up to our mixer, you can see that each individual channel can now have its own EQ settings and effects. Right off the bat, I don't like that the kick is in stereo. A quick way to be able to make this monophonic is go to the rack, find the kick, hit tab, and just pull the right channel off of it. Now, if we go back to right up here to our mixer, you can see now that it's in mono. We can now hit play, and we can scroll up, and we could individually EQ these. Once you're happy with the EQ settings, I recommend putting the voltmeter to peak, but this is just strictly preference. Next, I'm going to create a quick bass line, and I'm going to show you how you can quickly sidechain this to the kick. Let's go ahead and put in a monotone bass synthesizer. Let's create a quick 2-bar loop. If you want the piano roll to be bigger, go up to the plus sign and just hit this. Let's have a listen. Let's go to our rack and drop in a compressor. Go to your kick channel, and what we're going to do is right click, and we are going to put utilities and go to Spider Audio Merger and Splitter. You can also go to right here where the gears are, where the utilities, and we can find it down here. Here's a audio merger and splitter. Make sure it's the audio merger, not the CV merger. So let's do 2. And this is just going to be convenience sake to be able to add more than just one or a few different instruments to sidechain. This is strictly for convenience sake. Let's go to the Spider One Audio, double click it, and name it, Sidechain 1. The next one is Sidechain 2. Hit tab. Now we want to go right here where it says insert effects. You can't really see the thing because there's wires in the way, but if you click this, see, you can read it now. It says to device. So what we want to do is take this and bring it into the first part of the Spider audio merger. We want to make sure that both are in there. Okay. So now we want to take this and route it to the right side. Okay, so now this is set up for a side chain, but we want to have 2 because if we do it just this way, there's only 4 available. But if we do it here, there's going to be another 3 available. I know what you're thinking, like, well, isn't there 4 in each one? Well, we have to use one of these slots to be able to connect the next one. And then once again, take this and then just route it over here. Now these 3 slots are open and these 4 slots are open. And if you want to create more, just route it just like this. Add another one and then just drag it into the thing, and you could add as many as you want. Now let's scroll down to our base, and here is where we added our compressor to it. There's a thing that says Sidechain right here, Sidechain in. We can take this and we can go all the way up here and we can drop it in here. But that's kind of inconvenient, especially if you have about 1,000 different things going on in your rack. It's really time consuming to drag things up, a quarter mile. So let's just unplug these. So you can simply just go to your sidechain in, whatever you want sidechained, right click it, and you can go to where it says sidechain 1, and you can select output 1 left. And that's automatically going to be routing both of these. So let's follow this up, and here it is. So now we have 2 available in this one and 4 in this one. See how quick and easy it is instead of dragging it? Hit tab, go down here. Now we can put in our settings. So every time the kick hits, this should be triggering. Great. Now that we have our sidechain going on, we can mess with a little bit. Up here, we are going to now create a drum bus. To do this, simply click on all your elements. You can either click on each one while holding Control, but I recommend clicking the far right one and then holding down Shift and selecting all of these. Now, right click, and you can go to Route To, and then go to New Output Bus. Now here is our output bus that all of these elements are now being routed into this one channel. To make things a lot more neat and organized, I suggest creating your own colors for your elements in your songs. For my drums, I like to have them orange. So with all these highlighted, you can right click and go to Channel Color, and I like to put Tangerine. Now I know that all my drums are orange. So when you got about 1,000 different mix channels in there, you can be like, okay, where are the oranges? Okay, I know that those are my drums. So now, here is our bus 1. What I like to do with the buses is I like to have them stand out so I can spot them immediately. Right click, go to Channel Color, and I like to put this to red. See how much it stands out now? Where before everything was just a different color and it just adds confusion. So now everything is being routed to our bus 1. I'm going to double click this and I'm going to put drum bus. So if we hit play, even though this is going, the meters are going, this is controlling it. I'm going to show you now how to do some New York compression to make your drums sound fatter. Simply right click and go to Create Parallel Channel. Now, this is acting as the same thing as the drum bus right here. So let's just bring the volume down here. But the trick is we want to put heavy, heavy compression on our parallel drum bus. So let's go to our rack and find P1 drum bus. You can make it bigger if you want. But the thing is, we just need to create a compressor for it. So a quick, easy way is to just right click, and we can go to effects. And it depends if you use it a lot, it'll be up here. So you have an M-class compressor. But if you don't see it up here, you can just go to Reason Studios, and then you can find it in here, M-class compressor. So we want this to be ducking by like 18 decibels. So let's bring the threshold down on it, and we could even bring the attack down. This is just simply to taste, whatever you want, but you want really heavy compression going on for this to work properly. See, still not good enough. Okay, that's good. So we're getting heavy compression, but remember, we brought the volume down all the way on this. So with the volume all the way down, we're going to hit play, and we're going to slowly bring it in there, and you can listen to the drums getting a lot more fatter. So let's go ahead and hit play and bring the volume up. So just do it to taste. It looks like right here that we're clipping, so we can actually go down to our rack, and you can use a side scroller to go fast up it instead of just scrolling with your mouse wheel. Now we want to go to our master section, hit down, and it says show insert effects. And by default, this is on bypass, so we want to click that off. What I like to do a lot of the times is I can select all of these and then just drag them over here. So now I know that all of my master chain is to the right and all my other stuff is just right here. So if I need to quickly find it, I can just go to the top right. So a lot of this stuff is just bypassed right now, and that's fine. I just want to focus on the limiter right now. So if we hit play. So now this is limiting as well. But a lot of times stuff can, if you don't have limiters on some of your other things, this can be running really hot and it can start creating artifacts if it starts to duck too much. So a good thing to do is to go over to our drum bus and create a maximizer for that. So let's go to effects and then scroll down till we have the maximizer and just simply drop it right here. So now we can be limiting this before it hits our master limiter, which is right up here. Now this one doesn't have to work so hard. I think that the actual parallel drums are a bit up too much, so let's just drop these down a little bit. Hear how it sounds? This bass is a bit much in the lower end. Alright, doesn't sound half bad just for just doing something real quick. So now that we have all this, this should give you all the tools to be able to do this, but I want to leave you off with something kind of important. So what we're going to do is, we did this so you don't have to do it every single time, because this was a long, tedious process to be able to do this. So what we want to do, I'm going to delete the drum bus. I'm going to delete this mix channel, and I'm going to delete the bass. Now that we have just this, we are going to create a template. So every time you start a new project, just open up the template, and this stuff is already routed. What I actually recommend is resetting this device. Reset the device. So the stuff is still routed. So when you drop in your new elements, you're still going to have to make sure that the drum output bus is to its proper channels, but that just cut your work down by 95%. So now that you have this, and also you still have your sidechain stuff already ready for all your new elements. Let's actually delete this as well, and its compressor. Okay, good. So now this is right here. So just go to File, Save As, and I'm going to call this Template 2, or Drum Template. Drum Template. So now every time you open up a new project, when you hit, instead of going to File, New, go to Drum Template, and this will load up, and then immediately call it something different. Because if you change this, if you start adding a bunch of stuff, you're not going to be able to use it as a template anymore. So the second that you load it, just name it something different. Just be like Song 1 or something, or whatever you want. So hopefully this helped you out to be able to be a bit more organized in Reason 12. Thanks for watching. Cue the music.